Hello, my name is Lana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I tried a new angle. Let me know how you like this. Is this better? Is this the same? Do you not care? You probably don't care. Never mind. Today we are doing June finds, all the books that I added to my Goodreads want to read in June. These are just books that I came across in June and added them. I don't remember what they are. So let's find out together. Okay, first up we have True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. This book was highly recommended by Zuky on Instagram. I also highly recommend her page, I want to say channel, her page on Instagram. It's so fun. She reads a lot of thrillers and I always trust her recommendations, and she was raving about this one, so I of course added it on. So the genres are mystery, fiction, thriller, suspense. It was published in June this year. In the early hours of Saturday, Zoe Nolan, a 19-year-old Manchester University student, walked out of a party taking place in the shared accommodation where she had been living for 3 months. She was never seen again. 7 years after her disappearance, struggling writer Evelyn Mitchell finds herself drawn into the mystery. Through interviews with Zoe's closest friends and family, she begins piecing together what really happened in 2011. But where some versions of events overlap, aligning perfectly with one another, others stand in stark contrast, giving rise to troubling inconsistencies. Shaken by revelations of Zoe's secret life and stalked by a figure from the shadows, Evelyn turns to crime writer Joseph Knox to help make sense of a case where everyone has something to hide. So this doesn't really give away much. We only know that it's a disappearance and someone who is investigating. But as I said, I really trust Zuky, and it also says that it's perfect for lovers of true crime because it combines true crime, fiction, and mystery perfectly. And I love all the three things that are mentioned, so yes. Next we have The Great Mistake by Jonathan Lee. I have no memory of this book. It's actually fun going to the want to read list on Goodreads and seeing the dates, because it's not like I'm adding a book every 2 or 3 days or something. It's like a week of nothing, and then in one day at night I add like 10 books that I want to read. So yeah, most of them I don't even remember. But let's read about The Great Mistake. The genres are historical fiction, mystery, thriller, adult, historical, New York, LGBT. This is also a book that was published this year in June. It says, Andrew Haswell Green is dead, shot at the venerable age of 83 when he thought life could hold no more surprises. The killing on Park Avenue in broad daylight on Friday the 13th shook the city. Green was born to a poor farmer, yet without him there would be no Central Park, no Metropolitan Museum of Art, no Museum of Natural History, no New York Public Library. And Green had a secret, a life locked within him that now, in the hour of his death, alone misunderstood, is set to break free. The Great Mistake is a story of a city transformed, a murder that made a private man infamous, and a portrait of a singular individual who found the world closed off to him, yet enlarged it. While I was reading just now, there was recognition. I remember reading this before. One of the genres is mystery thriller, but I think it's more historical mystery, a little slower, a little more deep and literary, but it sounds incredible, and it looks like New York is a big part of it, which is great. Next is Bath House. Now I know for a fact that I saw this all over Instagram. I cannot pinpoint one account. I mean, listen, the cover and the title, very memorable. So the genres are thriller, LGBT, fiction, mystery, adult, contemporary, and horror. Only 7 users marked it as horror, so we'll see. Oh, this is also a book that came out in June this year. Oliver Park, a young recovering addict from Indiana, finally has everything he ever wanted: sobriety and a loving, wealthy partner in Nathan, a prominent DC trauma surgeon. Despite their difference in age and disparate backgrounds, they've made a perfect life together. With everything to lose, Oliver shouldn't be visiting House, a gay bathhouse. But through the entrance he goes, and it's a line crossed. Inside, he follows a man into a private room, and it's the final line. Whatever happens next, Nathan can never know. But then everything goes wrong, terribly wrong, and Oliver barely escapes with his life. He races home in full-blown terror as the hand-shaped bruise grows dark on his neck. The truth will destroy Nathan and everything they have together, so Oliver does the thing he used to do so well. He lies. What follows is a classic runaway train narrative, full of the exquisite escalations, edge-of-your-seat thrills, and oh my god twists. It feels like this book is just going to be very fast-paced, just go, 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 which sounds awesome. And it's not that long, it's 312 pages. Next I have Any Way the Wind Blows, the third and I think final book in the Simon Snow series. I am excited about this book. Because this is the third book in a series, I'm not gonna read you the blurb because why? But just know I'm excited. Next is The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. This is by Kat Sebastian. She writes, as it says here, steamy, upbeat historical romances. They usually take place in the Regency, generally have at least one LGBTQ+ main character, and always have happy endings. I've heard so much about her books, but I've never read any, which I know is an oversight. And this is the latest book that came out. It came out June 8th. Of this year. Kit Webb has left his stand and deliver days behind him, but dreary days at his coffee shop have begun to make him pine for the heady rush of thievery. Ooh. When a handsome yet arrogant aristocrat storms into his shop, Kit quickly realizes he may be unable to deny whatever this high-born man desires. In order to save himself and a beloved friend, Percy, Lord Holland must go against every gentlemanly behavior he holds dear to gain what he needs most. A book that once belonged to his mother, a book his father never lets out of sight, and could be Percy's savior. Kit refuses to participate in the robbery but agrees to teach Percy how to do the deed. Percy knows he has little choice but to submit, and as the lessons in thievery begin, he discovers thievery isn't the only crime he's desperate to commit with Kit. But when their careful plan goes dangerously wrong and shocking revelations threaten to tear them apart, can the stolen hearts withstand the impediments in their path? I think this blurb is very long. If the premise is an aristocrat who's taking classes of robbery and thievery and they fall in love, I mean, I don't need to know anything else. It sounds incredible. Anyway, let's move on. Tea first. Next is The Dinner Guest by B.P. Walter. The genres are thriller, mystery fiction, crime, LGBT, contemporary. And it came out in May this year. I don't exactly remember where I found this. I think it was an article with like the latest releases. And I liked the cover. Matthew, the perfect husband. Titus, the perfect son. Charlie, the perfect illusion, and Rachel, the perfect stranger. Charlie didn't want her at the book club. Matthew wouldn't listen, and that's how Charlie finds himself slumped beside his husband's body, their son sitting silently at the dinner table while Rachel calls 999, the bloody knife still gripped in her hand. Agatha Christie meets Donna Tartt. Whoa. In this nerve-shredding domestic noir thriller that weaves a sprawling web of secrets around an opulent West London world and the dinner that ends in death. It sounds very classic and exciting, and I like it. And my voice is gone. Oh, okay. Next is a book I added because it's very pretty and it screams dark academia. And I like that. But let's read about the Atlas 6. So the genres are fantasy, adult, LGBT, science fiction, mystery, and time travel. Came out last year in January. The Alexandrian Society Caretakers of lost knowledge from the greatest civilization of antiquity, are the foremost secret society of magical academicians in the world. And each decade, only the 6 most uniquely talented magicians are selected to be considered for an invitation. When the candidates are recruited by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they are told they will have 1 year to qualify for initiation, during which time they will be permitted preliminary access to the society's archives and judged based on their contributions to various subjects of impossibility, time and space, luck and thought, life and death. The 6 potential initiates will fight to survive the next year of their lives, and if they can prove themselves to be the best among their rivals, most of them will. So here's what appeals to me here: the idea of an Alexandrian society, caretakers of knowledge that was lost, I'm guessing in the fire in the Library of Alexandria, the fact that there's antiquity here, the fact that it's about old archives and books and knowledge. I like that. I'm a little worried about the magic part. How much is it magic based and them fighting with magic powers, and how much is it the library archive vibe? Like, do you know what I mean? Is there going to be like a mystery when they have to find codes and decipher things and read things and learn things, or is it going to be them on an arena fighting to the death with magic powers? Because that's not something I'm super interested, but I'm interested in the antiquity, knowledge, secret society stuff. Next is a book that was recommended by Amrita By The Book, someone I mention pretty much in every single one of these finds videos at this point. It's The Blacksmith Queen. The genres are fantasy, romance, paranormal magic, dragons, shapeshifters. Found in August 2019, Amrita said that she loved it. She says that it's hilarious and action-packed and full of interesting creatures. The old king is dead. With the demise of the old king, there's a prophecy that a queen will ascend to the throne of the Black Hills. Black news for the king's sons, who are prepared to defend their birthright against all comers. But for blacksmith Keely Smythe, war is great for business, until it looks like the chosen queen will be Beatrix, her younger sister. Now it's all Keely can do to protect her family from the enraged royals. Luckily, Keely doesn't have to fight alone, because thundering to her aid comes a clan of kilt-wearing mountain warriors called the Afiji. Not the most socially adept group, but soldiers have never bothered Keely, and rough, gruff Cade actually seems to respect her. A good thing, because the fierce warrior will be by her side for a much longer ride than any prophecy ever envisioned. Can we go back to the fact that they're kilt-wearing mountain warriors? I love this. Oh my god, yes. Next is another historical romance. I guess if I am in the mood for anything, I'm in the mood for a romance, and here we are. So this is Provoked by Joanna Chambers. I've never read anything by Joanna Chambers, but all the covers of her other books seem very familiar to me. And there's actually a comment, a review from KJ Charles, who is one of my favorite historical romance writers. She gave it 5 stars and she said, excellent. Great atmosphere, cracking sexual tension, intriguing plotting, likable but very human characters. I mean, if KJ Charles loved it, I am not doubting this is a good book. The genres are historical, romance. That's it. Tormented by his forbidden desires for other men and the painful memories of the childhood friend he once loved, lawyer David Lauriston tries to maintain a celibate existence while he forges his reputation in Edinburgh's privileged legal world. But then, into his repressed and orderly life burst Lord Mordo Balfour. Cynical, hedonistic, and utterly unapologetic, Mordo could not be less like David. And as appalled as David is by Mordo's unrepentant self-interest, he cannot resist the man's sway. Mordau tempts and provokes David in equal measure, forcing him to acknowledge his physical desires. But Mordau is not the only man distracting David from his work. Ian, the brother of a convicted radical David once represented, approaches David to beg him for help. Ian is searching for the government agent who sent his brother to Australia on a convict ship and order radicals to the gallows. Despite knowing it may damage his career, David cannot turn Ian away. There's more blurb here, but I think we get the gist. And the last book that I added in June is called Silence of Winter by Avery Blake. Do I remember anything about this? No. Oh my god, I know where I know this from. I was on Goodreads looking through the Goodreads recommends lists that are based off of my shelves, and I think this book came out based on the fact that I loved the Dark is the Night series, which is a historical mystery paranormal with an MM romance. And as I said, this book came out. I don't remember what it's about, but it seems to have very similar genres. The genres are paranormal, LGBT, fantasy, young adult, romance, ghosts. I like when there's a separate genre as ghosts. That's my favorite part. And this came out in December 2018. Normal is overrated. At least that's what Oliver Cromwell tells himself when he's being bullied for being different. He's a lover of all things paranormal, and when his nose isn't shoved into a sketchpad drawing haunted houses and monsters, he and his best friend Bailey hang out in abandoned buildings and take long, very non-romantic walks through graveyards looking for ghosts. Everything changes when they actually find one. Already, it sounds so good. Freaked out because he seems to be a sudden ghost magnet, Oliver befriends Mrs. Glass, a psychic who lives in the Victorian manor at the end of his street. With her help, he discovers his special bloodline and uncovers abilities that allow him to begin helping the ghosts move on. As if being 16 wasn't already complicated. When Oliver meets Victor, the charming and mysterious boy who lives with Mrs. Glass, he finds himself falling and falling hard. Chasing ghosts is a lot less nerve-wracking than falling in love though, especially when the person you fall for has secrets of their own. Anyway, these are all the books that I added to my Want to Read on Goodreads in June. I'm actually looking at the list right now and it's the 12th of July and I've yet to add a book this month, so maybe next month's July finds will be very short video. Anyway, I'm gonna link everyone who I've mentioned in this video in the description below. Make sure to go check them out. They're all awesome and incredible and deserve your attention, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!